Alright, man, we live and we back in full effect, man. Another episode of Off the Bench podcast, man. Thank y'all for tuning in and staying down with me while I was getting everything situated to bring y'all this new season, man. And you know, what a time to be back. It's March. March Madness is here. You know, the bracket got revealed today. Conference tournaments, a lot of championship games have been played. A lot of tickets been punched. It's the best time to, go ahead and come back. A lot of NFL free agency's been going on, off-season moves, trades, signings, obviously the draft right around the corner, NBA playoffs right down the street as well. We got like 18 games left remaining in the NBA season. So what a time to be back right before everything getting down to the nitty gritty of it. So I'm just glad to be back, man. Y'all go ahead and do what y'all do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. And when this episode drops, starting off for this season 2, we will be on all audio platforms as well, where you can catch me on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever platform you want to listen to, YouTube. We will all be on all of those. So make sure y'all catch me on there whenever I drop. And make sure y'all just go ahead and stream, subscribe, like, comment, do whatever. Make sure you request a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. But man, let's go and get right into it. This season gonna be a little bit different from what I was doing previously. It won't just be so much basketball or sports oriented. We'll bring more topics to this show, more variety, episodes, interviews, things of that nature. But just to get back into the group, what the word I'm trying to say, back into our original form of how we started since I've been away for a little minute. We're gonna go and get right into March Madness. Like I said, the conference tournaments over this past week has been played. 16 tickets has been punched for the March Madness tournament. We got the American East Side, Vermont coming out victorious in that conference right there. They punched their ticket into the NCAA tournament. American Conference, UAB, they won today against Temple in their championship game where they punched the ticket into the tournament. ACC, North Carolina State last night beat UNC, they division rival. They end up winning and punching their seed into March Madness tournament. The ASUN Conference, Stetson versus Austin Peay. Stetson end up coming up on top by 3. It's been a lot of good games going on. The Queens punched their ticket for the Atlantic 10 division. UConn, obviously, they punched their ticket in the Big East, number 1 in their division in seeding wise. Big Sky. The Big Sky Conference, you got Montana State coming out on top, Big South Division. You got Longwood coming out on top, Big Ten. Illinois punched their ticket with a win over Wisconsin yesterday. You got Iowa State beating down on Houston with an impressive sight and an impressive win over the number 1 team in the country. They punched their ticket yesterday. You got the Big West, Long Beach State punched their ticket too. The Coastal Atlantic Division. You got College of Charleston. They ended up winning by 3 points yesterday in their division in the Coastal Atlantic. The Conference USA division, Western Kentucky punched their ticket with a 7-point win over UTEP. Horizon League, the Oakland University ended up winning by a margin of 8 points. Yeah, man. So it was just a lot of activity going on for this past week of college basketball. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, they punched their ticket yesterday. Punched their ticket today. They punched their ticket earlier today against Brown in the Ivy League division. Metro Atlantic St. Peter's punched their ticket yesterday. In the Metro Atlantic division, Mid-African division, Akron punched their ticket. A lot of teams punched their tickets. Gonna be a lot of upsets in the Mountain West division. New Mexico punched their ticket into the conference tournament. In Pac-12, Oregon punched their ticket over the win over Colorado. You got the WAC. The Grand Canyon, man. With the WAC division, Grand Canyon, they punched their ticket. You got Grambling in the SWAC division punching their ticket. They first ever ticket punched to the March Madness tournament. A lot of things that have been going on, man. A lot of good basketball been played over these past couple weeks. Like I said, 16 total teams have been punched over these past weeks, over this conference tournament. A lot of teams fought their way into getting into the tournament. A lot of teams had, felt like they got I can't say because this is a friendly show, but they feel like they could let away with one. They feel like they should have been in a tournament over a couple other teams. You got eight teams from each, the Big Ten, SEC division. those was the heavy hitters. I think you had 6 and 2 other conferences. I want to say what the Big 12 and the Big 10. You got those teams, the majority of those teams right there coming out of there. So it wasn't a lot of spots that was gonna be handed around. So you got 8 teams from the Big 12, 8 teams from the SEC. You get 6 teams from the Big 10 conference, 6 teams from the Mountain West conference, 5 teams from ACC conference, 4 teams from the Pac-12, 3 teams from the Big East, 2 from the American, 2 from the Atlantic 10, and 2 from the West Coast Division. So it wasn't a lot of spots going around when you already got 2 conferences with 8 teams and 2 conferences with 6 teams, 1 conference with 5 teams. Not a lot of spots to go around. You definitely have to put on your best show, your best sight throughout the whole year. But man, after looking at this bracket, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna give y'all my final 4 predictions coming up for the March Madness tournament that will be played. The first games will be played on Thursday. And, for the West Division, you got North Carolina that's the number 1 seed. You got Arizona that's the number 2 seed. You got Baylor that's the number 3 seed, 4 seed, Alabama 5 seed, St. Mary 6 seed is the Clemson Tigers, 7 seed is the Dalton, 8 seed, Mississippi State, 9 seed, Michigan State. You got 10 seed, Nevada, 11 seed, New Mexico, 12 seed, Grand Canyon, 13 seed, Charleston, 14 seed, Colgate, 15 seed, Long Beach State, 16 seed, Howard/Wagner. So in the West region, I feel like at all the regions, I think this might have the most competition in it at all the teams that I've seen in each region. Simply for the simple fact because I think it's a lot of teams that don't get the type of certain love because they're not a Power 5 school or something like that. But I definitely think the way that they've been played, the record and the overall difficulty of schedule, and just the sight of how they played and how they won their ball games, I've been very impressed. I think it can be a lot of upsets in this region right here. But for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna tell y'all, like I said, I'm giving y'all my final 4 predictions. And coming out the West, I was drawn between Arizona and North Carolina. Now, ultimately, I came down with my decision with being Arizona because they did beat North Carolina in the regular season. They did Arizona ended up losing to Purdue earlier on in the season. But I think I like the strength of schedule. The schedule was a little bit more tougher. It was a little bit more stronger. They got a little bit more wins, better wins on their resume than I think that North Carolina do on theirs. So they had a lot to do with it. I think Caleb Love, he's gonna be the best player on the floor. No disrespect to RJ Davis, but I just think he will be the best player on the floor. I like their team, how they play. They got 4 guys that's scoring at least 12 points on their team. They show the diversity of the team and show how deep of a ball club this team is. They're second in the nation in assists, averaging at least almost 19 assists a game. They're second in the nation in fast break points. So they like to get out in transition. They are a very unselfish ball club. They're 14th in the nation in field goal percentage, shooting 50% from the field. They 15th in the nation in free throw attempts. So they definitely is a team that like to get to the line and get downhill. 3rd in rebounding, 3rd in scoring offense. So they're very not very one-dimensional team. They're gonna be a very hard out. They're a very well coached ball club. They got a big guy down low who a double-digit rebound guy, a double type of guy down there down low. Obviously, you got Caleb Love, like I said, at the guard position. In March Madness, that's what it comes down. Your guards, your big man gonna get you there, but your guards gonna be the ones to take you home. You're gonna need some guards to be able to break down the defense, put pressure on the rim, to be able to make shots, to be able to get guys going, and obviously, to take over the game whenever you need them to, and not just over the whole game, but just in spurts, to be that steady presence, to be able to make sure they can get a shot up at the rim, when things not going good, when the other team's on the run, and to bring the confidence of the team to make sure they keep a even ground, an even kill. And I think that's what Arizona bring with Caleb Love, with him being ahead of the snake over there. Like I said, with them being second in the nation in assists, there's a very unselfish ball club, so they're gonna make sure that they use the whole 30 seconds of the clock, move the ball from side to side, making you defend from lengths of the court the whole time period of the 30-minute shot clock. Also, they second in fast break points, so they like to get out in transition. They are a very unselfish ball club. They 14th in the nation in field goal percentage, shooting 50% from the field. You know, they 15th in the nation in free throw attempts, so they definitely is a team that like to get to the line and get downhill. Third in rebounding, third in scoring offense. So they are very not very one-dimensional team. They're gonna be a very hard out. They're a very well coached ball club. They got a big guy down low who a double-digit rebound guy, a double type of guy down there down low. Obviously, you got Caleb Love, like I said, at the guard position. In March Madness, that's what it comes down. Your guards, you know, your big man gonna get you there, but your guards gonna be the ones to take you home. You're gonna need some guards to be able to break down the defense, put pressure on the rim, to be able to make shots, to be able to get guys going, and obviously, you know, to take over the game whenever you need them to, and not just in over the whole game, but just in spurts, to be that steady presence, to be able to make sure they can get a shot up at the rim, you know, when things not going good, when the other team's on the run, and to bring the confidence of the team, to make sure they keep a even ground, an even keel. And I think that's what Arizona bring with Caleb Love, you know, with him being the head of the snake over there. Like I said, with them being second in the nation in assists, there's a very unselfish ball club, so they're gonna make sure that they use the whole 30 seconds of the clock, move the ball from side to side, making you defend from lengths of the court the whole time period of the 30-minute shot clock. Also, they second in fast break points, so if you turn the ball over even on miss or makes, they like to get the ball out. They like to run. They're a very fast team. They can play in a multitude of ways. That's why I really like Arizona coming out of the West region. You know, for those reasons right there. Third in scoring offense, so they can play. They can defend. They can get out in transition. They can shoot the three. They can get to the mid-range. They have a guy who can be able to break down the defense when things get tough, a guy who's been there and experienced. He did go to a national championship game, Caleb Love, I'm speaking of, with the North Carolina Tar Heels not too long ago. I want to say maybe a year or two ago. It wasn't that long ago, so he got experience, and they have a guy who I trust and who I feel like Arizona, that they trust going down in a tight stretch of a ball club. So, you know, moving on, that's why I got coming out the West, you know, Arizona. You know, I was definitely tough. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets in this West region, though. One team that I'm looking at, that I'm eyeing at, is this Grand Canyon team. That is a very well-coached ball club, very good defensively, very good on the glass. They can rebound the ball. They're good. They one of the top teams leading the nation in blocks, one of the top teams leading the nation in fast break points, one of the top teams leading the nation in in rebounds. So they gonna be a very tough out. I think I like they exciting and how the way they play, and definitely them winning their division and punching this ticket, getting into, and I think they got a favorable matchup going up against St. Mary's. You know, I definitely think they can win that game. I definitely think they can take down the winner of the Alabama and Charleston game as well. You know, like I said, with the length that they have, the size that they have, the way that they plan, the coaching staff that they got over there, the guys they committed to winning, that they want to win, and they understand who they are as players. They're not forcing anything, so I really like that. I really like Grand Canyon over there. Or another team that I like that can possibly knock out a 1 seed is that Mississippi State. You know, Mississippi State, there's a team that come out of SEC, where the SEC had a lot of good teams, and you know they just beat Tennessee. They beat the brakes off of them in the SEC tournament first game. They came out there and put the brakes on them. I think that was they put the conference on notice. They put the world on notice, especially like a viewer such as myself. You know, you get into tournament time, you look at situations, you want to look at teams like this. Even in wins or losses, once you get to this time of the year, it's sometimes when you get into the conference tournament, it's not about wins or losses. It's about how did you play in this win or in this loss. And I think that the outing that they show, there's a very capable ball club to be able to give anybody a threat. You know, for me, I thought Tennessee was the best team in that conference. I thought Tennessee maybe had a chance to come out and win. It's the whole SEC tournament. But they came around and put the breakers on them, and that was definitely a statement win right there. So I definitely think if they can get past Michigan State, I definitely think North Carolina gonna have a lot to deal with over there, especially with the guard playing that Mississippi State possess over there. They'll be able to play fast. They'll be able to play different type of ways to make it choppy. make the game a little bit slower. You know, I definitely think UNC definitely have the size advantage in terms of that matchup if they do come down to it and play each other. But I definitely do like Mississippi State chances over there. I also like Baylor. Baylor is a sleeper team. They the third seed. They play Colgate. If they win, they play the winner of New Mexico and Clemson. Definitely think those are two winnable games right there. If they whoever come out of that game, I definitely think they can win those games as well. But that's it for the West region, man. Midwest region, we got the number 1 seed at Purdue, Tennessee the 2nd seed, 3rd seed we got who the 3rd seed? Let's see. 3rd seed we got Creighton, that's the 3rd seed. 4th seed we have Kansas, 5th seed Gonzaga, 6th seed we have South Carolina. I might take this back. I just said that the West region might have been the toughest. I think Midwest have the most competition, the most hardest path into the Final Four in terms of teams and level of teams that I think that can all have a good chance or can beat anybody on any given tournament. Any given game. 6th seed you got South Carolina, 7th seed Texas, 8th seed Utah State, 9th seed TCU, 10th seed you got Virginia, Colorado State, 11th seed you got Oregon, 12th seed you got McNeese, 13th seed Sanford, 14 Akron, 15 St. Peter's, 16 Noun State, Grambling State. Hey man, Midwest region. I think it ultimately come down to Tennessee and Purdue. That's what our drama too. And man, I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely hard to choose which team that I wanted to decide to end ultimately going with. Because to me, I feel like Tennessee, man, they are a good team. They won majority of their game. They was the number 1 team in the SEC. SEC, they had 8 teams. They got 8 teams in the March Madness tournament. So that just shows the level of difficulty of the SEC conference. How every game was a dog fight. It was going to be a slug hammer fest over there. A lot of points, a high octane, high pace. But I just think in terms of Tennessee, when they play teams outside of their conference, when they played a team like a Purdue, they end up losing, even though they only lost by 4. That was the beginning of the season. They lost to a team like a Kansas. They lost to a team like a Arizona. You know, those games matters to me. You know, once you play outside your conference, because that'll give you a little bit of that March Madness taste and feel. You know, you're not gonna always play a team that's in your conference once you get into the tournament time. What's made me a little sketchy on them. But the thing that I like about Purdue, you know, they're a team, they're a ball club that been there. They're well coached. Not gonna beat themselves, so you have to beat them. They got a big over there in Edey, you know, a 7-foot guy who they can be able to throw the ball into the post and be able to slow the game down, make it a little bit more choppy. Make sure they make it hard for you on the defensive side of the ball. Make you have. Purdue is the team that makes you have to make jumpers. You got to make perimeter shots to beat them, and I think, you know, that's their identity. You know, pound them inside, pause, and make the other team have to make perimeter shots, and don't let them into our paint so they won't get them in foul trouble. You know, that Wisconsin game, they did bring Purdue, but Edey ended up taking like 2-3 guys out of the foul, getting them in foul trouble, fouling them out the game. That showed me a lot. But you know, ultimately, what I think it come down to, and like I said, March is all about your guard play. It's all about shot making. It's all about execution. Who wants it more, rebounding, and who don't turn the ball over. And with all that being said, I'm ultimately gonna come down to, I had Arizona in the West region. In the Midwest region, it came down between Purdue and Tennessee. If I had to pick one, I gotta pick one for the sake of the video. I'm gonna lean toward Tennessee for the simple fact that Dalton Knecht, you know, this is a player that I've been watching all year. He grew on me. To me personally, I feel he is the best player in the country, in the nation. When you look at a player like Dalton Knecht, he's 6'6". You know, he can be able to score at all 3 levels, all 4 levels, play inside the post, hit the mid-range, step out to the 3, handle the ball, score it, get to the lane in the cup. He understands who he is as a player. He's a senior now, so he know who he is. The team know who he is. The team trusts him. I think the games he showed me a lot. I think he had 40 against Kentucky this season. He had 30 against Alabama. He had some very big out and ball scoring games, so I definitely believe in him. And they was ranked 19th in assists. Not some of the numbers don't pop out too much for Tennessee in terms of overall. They more so dominated their conference in terms of their schedule and outside of like I said, Purdue and all those things like that. They didn't really have a good outing when they didn't play teams that won in their conference, which kind of make me a little sketchy when it comes to Tennessee picking them over Purdue. Because Purdue did beat them. Purdue did also beat Arizona. Purdue also did beat Kansas. So they definitely got some good wins on their resume. But I just think that Get Back going to be a MFer when they end up playing each other again for that Final Four spot. And like I said, Tennessee, they lost to Purdue by 4 points, and that was early on in the season. I think they have grown from that. I think they can learn from that. I think the way that they went out against Mississippi State, the way they got their ass handed to them, I think they're going to come out with vengeance, come out with more confidence, come out with a chip on their shoulder, and understand, teams ain't coming to play. You got to go out there and win ball games. Teams not going to let you win. You got to go out there and take it. So I think that was definitely a learning lesson for them and going to help them moving forward. So ultimately, I got Tennessee coming out the Midwest region. Now, the Big East, I think this probably the more comfortable, my most comfortable pick. It's the East region. You got number 1 UConn, number 2 seed. You got Iowa State, number 3 seed. You got Illinois, number 4 seed. You got Auburn, 5th seed. You got 5th seed. You got San Diego State, 6th seed. You got BYU, 7th seed. You got Washington State, 8th seed. Florida Atlantic, 9th seed. Northern Western, 10th seed. You got Drake, 11th seed. DeQueese, 12th seed. You got UAB, 13th. Yale, 14. Morehead State, 6th. 15. South Dakota State, 16. Stetson. And I think this one is kind of a little bit more on the easier side. I mean, they do have Auburn in this East region. They do got Iowa State. Illinois can shock some people. I think San Diego State is an underrated team as well. But I just think UConn is the best team in college basketball. The type of threat they pose to any other team in the country. I was a little bit more impressed from what I saw from UConn. UConn is probably the best team in college basketball. Has been the best team in college basketball over the whole year. They look solid, very well coached. They 10th in blocks. They 10th in the nation in blocks, 6th in field goal percentage, 11th in opponent field goal percentage. So they can lock you down. They got a top 15 scoring defense, 23rd in scoring offense. They 7th in assists, averaging about 18 assists per game. They got 3 guys averaging at least 14 points a game, 5 guys averaging at least double digits. So like I said, they're a very deep ball club, very, very talented ball club. They got unselfish guys. They're a very well coached team. So they're not going to beat themselves. They showed you they can play a multitude of ways. They can play fast. They can play in transition. They can play in the half court. They got guards that can be able to win you games, to be able to make shots, to make tough shots, to be able to make plays for your bigs and also your wing players. I just think the UConn is the best team right now. They had the most impressive sighting. I think them beating. I think they beat. Did they beat UConn early on in the season? I'm not sure if UConn beat Houston early on in the season, but let's see. Cause you got no. Okay, no. And they didn't, but they beat Alabama. They beat the brakes off Alabama. Beat the brakes out of Iowa State. And Iowa State, that's the number 2 seed. They beat Villanova. And obviously they beat, who else in their conference. But those are, those are good wins right there. Iowa State just beat the brakes off of out of Houston, who a lot of people coming into the conference tournaments had Houston as the best team. They're the number one seed comfortably, as they should be in their South region. But right now we're talking about the East. And like I said, all the stats that I just listed out for UConn, it just screams that they are the best team in their division. They're the best team in their conference, the best team in this region. And I think the team that can probably maybe pose them a threat, they definitely going to have to go up against a team. I definitely think they're going to have to see an Auburn team who I think Auburn can pose a threat to them with their shot blocking ability, with their length and size on the interior to make you play a little bit more on the perimeter side of things, to make you shoot jumpers. They're not gonna make it easy on you. I'm gonna just say that Auburn, they pose a little bit more of a different threat, but I think UConn ultimately can still win that game. When it come down to, I think, in the Elite Eight, gonna end up being Iowa State and UConn with a showdown, with a rematch right there. And I like UConn coming out on top, man. They got different guys. They got, like I said, they got 5 guys on their team averaging double digits, at least 10 points. So when you got that deep of a ball club, you can call on somebody else every night, every game, or a different game, a different Cajun, that they're gonna step up and make plays. So I think that's very important. So I got right now East region, UConn, Midwest, Tennessee, West region, Arizona, in the South region right now. That's the last region that will complete my Final Four. And I'm not gonna lie. Now you got Houston as your number 1 seed. You got Marquette number 2. 3 seed, you got Kentucky. 4, you got Duke. 5, you got Wisconsin. 6, you got Texas Tech. 7, you got Florida. 8, you got Nebraska. 9, Texas A&M. 10, Boise State, Colorado. 11, you got NC State. 12, James Madison. 13, you got Vermont. 14, Oakland. 15, Western Kentucky. 16, Longwood. And me, the South region, they definitely do got some heavy hitters on there. I definitely think Texas A&M can cause Houston some problems if they do match up. And Texas A&M can get past Nebraska. And if they do match up with Houston, I think they can give Houston some problems, because Houston, sometimes the offense can get a little stagnant, they can go on a dry spell. But for the most part, I think Houston, their defense is what they've been hanging their hats on. They're a physical ball club, very well coached, not gonna beat themselves. They got a guard over there that understands the big moments, that understand who he is as a player, who the team is as a collective. And I think that's very important once you get into tournament time. I like Kentucky. Kentucky, they got the firepower to beat anybody, but they also got the lack of effort or the lack of intensity on the defensive side to lose to anybody. So that's ultimately why I don't have them coming out the South region. I think to me it came down to Kentucky and Houston. I know Wisconsin. I know Texas. I should have said Texas A&M gonna give them a run for their money if they do meet Houston. But I think Houston is just a little bit more stronger. Even though I do like Texas A&M and that 3-headed monster guard play that they got over there, especially Wade Taylor. But Houston, they 10th in the nation in points per game. They got the best scoring defense in the nation. Only allowing at least 57 points a game. They 3rd in the nation in scoring margin. 12th in the nation in forcing turnovers, forcing at least 16 turnovers a game. 7th in the nation in turnovers. They commit the 7th least turnovers in the nation. Only commit 9 turnovers. 1st in opponent's field goal percentage. Their team, they're making their opponents. Excuse me. They 1st in opponent's field goal, where their opponents their highest is scoring 37% from the field whenever you go up against Houston. So they're gonna make it very tough on you. That's why I say in a 10th in the nation in rebounds, in offensive rebounding, with 13 offensive rebounds a game. So that's what I'm saying. So Houston, they're very physical. They are a very well coached team. They're a very well balanced team. They can score. They can force you to turn the ball over where they can play in transition. They can play fast. It just sometimes when you have a team that they can make perimeter shots at a consistent basis, at a consistent rate, that's when you can get Houston a little riled up, a little sped up, a little nervous, where you can get them out their game a little bit, because they want to make the game as choppy as possible, as low scoring as possible, as grind out as possible. That's what Houston is. They're going to hang their hats on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to make you turn the ball over. They're going to make you shoot the ball poorly from the field, make you have to make tough shots. and they're just gonna come down on the other side, slow the game down, execute on this side when they get the ball on offense, make sure they don't turn the ball over, and get a shot at the rim at least where they could take time off the clock, and if they do miss a shot, they'll be able to get back on defense and make them play against a set defense instead of they dribbling down y'all backs paws because you got your back turned. You commit live ball turnovers. You doing things like that, and you steady putting them on the foul line. And I think Houston, they're a very balanced enough team, and I think the whooping that Iowa State just put on them in the Big 12 conference championship game, I think they need to come out here and show pure dominance in this tournament to show everybody that yeah, we lost to Iowa State, and yes, we did get a beat down, but we still one of the best teams in the nation. We have been all year, and just because one game in the Big 12 championship, that don't define us of who we are as a ball club. And I definitely think that they're gonna come out with that type of energy or that type of mindset. I think the coach is gonna have them ready to play. Not worrying about what just happened against Iowa State. Ultimately, no other team, like I said, outside of outside of Texas A&M, Kentucky, I really don't see no team really posing that much of a threat to them because, like I said, you have to be able to make outside shots to be able to put some type of pressure